Hi everyone, Jeff Van Dyke here, and welcome to a new edition of Connecting the Dots. Today I am here with Stephanie Dible, and I will allow Stephanie to tell you about herself so I don't spoil any of the details.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here. My name is Stephanie Dible, and I am a disability advocate in the West Michigan area. I grew up in Newaygo County, and after I graduated high school, I went on to Grand Valley State University, where I got a degree in journalism. When I was finishing up my undergraduate studies at Grand Valley, I was crowned Miss Wheelchair Michigan 2012, and during during my time as Miss Wheelchair Michigan, I focused on advocating for people with disabilities in the community, and I set out a goal to help other people with disabilities set their own goals and gain access to resources within the disability community, and just to help other people pursue and obtain their own goals. When I finished my reign as Miss Wheelchair Michigan, I decided to go back to grad school because I enjoyed so much of what I was doing during my reign as Miss Wheelchair Michigan. I wanted to find a way to stay involved in the community, and I wanted to find a way to continue to help other people gain access to resources that they needed to pursue their own goals. So I made the decision to go to graduate school and obtain my master's degree in student affairs and leadership. And when I finished my master's degree, I then got selected to be the executive director of Miss Wheelchair America. The Miss Wheelchair America organization is an education and advocacy-based organization that was founded by a physician in Ohio, and our main mission is to help individuals with disabilities provide them with a platform to raise awareness about disabilities. We really focus on education and advocacy, and really we want to just encourage people in the community to showcase what they can do as individuals with disabilities, and really just empower people to reach their own goals. So currently that's what I'm doing. I'm the executive director for that organization. And also in the summer of 2020, I was appointed by our governor here in Michigan to the Statewide Independent Living Council. And so those are some of the things that keep me busy and some of the things that I'm passionate about.
That's awesome. Like, that whole list is just impressive, like beyond belief. I know there's lots of things on that list that generate so many questions for me, but I'll try to keep them to a minimum as much as I can. One of the first things that jumps out at me is just like your passion and your drive to just use your life experiences to help other people, and that in itself, even without all the cool positions and fancy accomplishments, like, that in itself is just something to be proud of. And I think I can speak for many people when I say that we appreciate your efforts and your passion and your drive, because it's something we can all, not only learn from, but benefit from. So that's just cool. And, on top of that, I'm curious, is there something that people who might be watching that are interested in the Miss Wheelchair Michigan pageant or organization? Is it something that anyone can join? Like, how?
Yeah, so to join the Miss Wheelchair Michigan or Miss Wheelchair America organization, we have programs all across the nation. Some of the states have Little Miss or Junior Miss divisions. It just sort of depends, and those are designed for teenagers or young girls. So if you're interested in finding out more information about those, you can go to our website, which is www.misswheelchairamerica.org. In terms of here in Michigan, We do have a program, and we do have a little Miss, a junior Miss division, so for younger girls, and then we also have an adult division, and that is for women who are 21 or older. There is no age cap, so you have to be 21 or older and use a wheelchair for 100% of your community mobility. And basically, what that means is if you're interested in competing, you go through a series of judging interviews with a panel of judges, and you pick a platform or a topic that you would like to raise awareness about, and that platform or topic will kind of inform your year or guide you throughout your year. And if you are selected as Miss Wheelchair Michigan, you would go out and do appearances or events in the community, and then also you would move on to compete in the national competition for the title of Miss Wheelchair America. The Miss Wheelchair America organization does not judge beauty. It does not judge outward appearance. It's all about advocacy, education, and leadership. So really encouraging other people with disabilities. That's what we're all about.
Well, that's really cool. I just thought I'd ask you about that in case there's someone that heard that might be interested in looking into it for themselves or someone they know. It's really neat to know that things out there are out there that exist like that, because prior before we talked, like I mentioned, I had never heard of it before, so it's like a whole new world for me.
Yeah.
Not that it's probably a position for me, but I love that it's out there for others. And another thing you mentioned was your newly appointed position for the Michigan Statewide Independent Living Council. That's so cool. Like, is that something that you had to apply for, or do you?
Yeah, I noticed that they were looking for people to serve on the council, and I'm always one where I want to volunteer or help out or reach out to other people with disabilities wherever I can.
Right.
So I inquired more information about it, and after I did that, I found out that I was appointed to the council, and primarily what we do as a council is we're really passionate about independent living, kind of facilitating the independent living movement, and then also creating inclusive environments for people with disabilities all throughout the state. So those are some of the things that the council focuses on, and I was really intrigued, and really those are things that align with my passions and my goals. So it was something that I wanted to be a part of. So
it's really cool. It's something that aligns with my passions as well. I've mentioned it in other videos, I believe, or other blogs, where I've been an athlete, not only for myself, but I also, volunteer to help kids as often as I can. I'm going on 20 years now, so without making myself sound too old, it's nice to be able to use the position to try to make our world a better place. It's cool to know that you have that same kind of drive. For those that might be curious, what does, you mentioned the role on the council, but what does that actually involve? Like, what is?
So right now, our main focus, the council is responsible for developing and monitoring a statewide plan for independent living, and that just outlines goals and objectives for people with disabilities all across the state, and talks about different services and programs that people with disabilities can utilize. So we work a lot with other organizations throughout the state, like Michigan Rehabilitation Services or Disability Network, and just kind of talk through what are some of the services that people with disabilities are needing. Are there currently services in place that are meeting those needs, or are there things that need to change? So it's really just monitoring and developing a plan to help people with disabilities throughout our state, and we do a lot of collaboration, a lot of talking with other organizations to find out what are some of the things that they're doing and how can we collaborate together to really create the best possible environment for people with disabilities in our state.
That's really cool to know that, you know, these positions exist and these boards exist to just make our community a better place for all, a more inclusive environment, a more hands-on, involved approach to, you know, developing plans and helping people with disabilities achieve the success they want to, which kind of brings me to my next question, which, if you could provide input on any topic or you know issue at hand for people with disabilities, what do you think it would be? No pressure, just curious.
Well, I would say there are a lot of things that, you know, impact people with disabilities on a daily basis. For me personally, I grew up in a rural area. So for me, one of the biggest issues was participation and finding my way around different barriers in the community so I could still be a part of the community and have fun and be included. So for me, it's connecting people with disabilities to resources is a huge, huge thing. And I think as we come together as a society and as we work with different organizations, we can kind of help open those doors for other people with disabilities and kind of connect them to the resources that they need to live fulfilling lives and do the things that they want to do. I think that's a huge, huge thing for people with disabilities. Just being able to be connected to the resources that they need in order to do the things that they want to do, because ultimately, I truly believe people with disabilities just want opportunities. They want to be able to be included. They want to be able to work and do social activities and contribute to society just like anyone else who doesn't have a disability would.
I totally agree. I think those are really important things because growing up in my position, you know, there wasn't really any direction to turn. Like, I knew what I wanted to be, or I knew that I guess I wouldn't say I knew what I wanted to be, but I knew I wanted to be involved in something, and I knew that I didn't want it to be just any old thing. I wanted it to be something that mattered, but I didn't know how to get there. And knowing that these people are people like you and organizations like Disability Network West Michigan and other organizations that are out there exist to help us find our place in a society, in a world that doesn't always make us feel like we matter, to make us feel like we're kind of afterthoughts. It's nice to know that you guys are out there and Disability Network and all these different organizations can work together to kind of lessen that. Of course, it'll always be a work in progress, but I feel like through your efforts and to the council's efforts and, as I said, the other organizations, you know, we're a lot better than we were at one time. So it kind of gives us that sense of hope.
Exactly.
And I think that hope is the most important thing that we can have as people, especially in such uncertain times right now. Hope keeps us going, and the more we can get that, or the more examples we can look to achieve that, then I think that's needed. So I guess you kind of answered this in the last question, but I'll just ask you again, just for fun. If you were to provide, like, let's say, you were to provide advice for a person with a disability who, maybe even your younger self, like if you wanted to get where you are now, but you didn't know where to start, you kind of felt overwhelmed by the prospect. what would you say to someone who was looking to do that but didn't, you know?
I would say don't be afraid to reach out to people and connect. You might not know where to start, but just finding one resource to start with can help open that door, and that connection to other people is so, so important. So even if it's starting with Disability Network, and just having a conversation with them, I would also say don't be afraid to use your story. I know sometimes it's hard when you have a disability and you don't want people to doubt you for what you can't do or what you struggle with, but sometimes just opening up and sharing some of what your story is, that's very powerful because there is nobody like you. You're unique and you have your own strengths and your own things that you can bring to the table. So don't be afraid to embrace those things. I think those are things when you're willing and able to do that, when you're willing and able to connect with resources and then embrace your own story and embrace the things that you bring to the table, those are your stepping stones for achieving your own goals. Because once you're able to start doing those things, you are connected to a whole new set of resources, a whole new set of people, and that's what can help you achieve your goals. And I would also say there are going to be challenges in your life, in your circumstances. Nobody is immune to having a life without challenges. So embrace those challenges and just hold on to hope that what's on the other side is going to be good. And maybe some of the things that you go through that are hard are going to help other people down the line.
I totally agree with you about all of it, but especially the power and using your own story, because I think it happens in all cases, but specifically in ours. Growing up like this or with a certain disability, you probably feel like you're the only one. But I think when people come forward with their story, whether that be in a presentation or two of us sitting down with the same disability, um, you know, these are two people on your screen right now who've been through similar things.
Yeah.
It's nice to know that, you can get a long way by yourself, but I think it's a whole lot easier if you can go with someone else. And I think the first step is using your story to kind of bridge that gap, not only for other people but for yourself. Once you can say the words out loud, whatever those words are, maybe it's not cerebral palsy, maybe you have some other condition like diabetes or cancer or any other, uh, day in day out diagnosis. The more you can say the words, the more you kind of take back the power, and those things that used to be roadblocks will be stepping stones before you know it. It doesn't happen all at once, so don't expect like giant changes to come overnight. But a baby step each day is better than no step at all. So totally agree with you. I think there's a power in telling your story and using yourself and in the best way possible. And it's cool to be able to share this forum with you and just kind of hopefully spread hope and maybe a little bit of fun while we're at it. All in all,
Absolutely.
I think that's what makes life worth living is making it better for each other as much as we can. And last but not least, I have one final question. Uh, if you could share a fun fact with our viewers, anything you want off the top of your head, what would it be?
Well, a fun fact about me, since in the last question we were talking about using your story and not being afraid to embrace things that you might think are not possible or out of reach. one of the cool things that I got to do back a few years ago was I was able to go skydiving. And one of the things that I had been focusing on was helping other people with disabilities gain access to the resources that they need to achieve their own goals or their own activities and things like that. And I thought, well, if I'm going to be encouraging other people to pursue their own goals, then I need to do it myself. So an opportunity came about where there was an adaptive skydiving event in Allegan, Michigan. I never, ever imagined myself being able to go skydiving, and never even crossed my mind. Because it's not every day that you hear about people with disabilities jumping out of airplanes. So, yeah, that opportunity came about, and I went skydiving, and I loved it. It was so cool. And I think one of the coolest things about it was something that I never pictured myself doing. So it was really cool to be able to embrace, hey, I never thought this was a possibility, but look, here I am, just taking chances and having fun and enjoying life and enjoying being around the people that are in my life. So what I learned is that you never know where life can take you and what doors can open, and don't be afraid to try new things because it can lead to things that you never imagined.
That sounds absolutely awesome and absolutely terrifying at the same time.
Yeah.
I cannot say that I would be joining you on that adventure at this moment, but I do appreciate the story and the effort and the thrill that was probably associated with it. But
yeah, it was very fun. It was very cool because, like I said, I have spent a lot of time trying to encourage other people to take chances and try new things. And I thought, if I'm going to be doing that, I need to do the same thing. So I took the plunge, and it was fun and memorable and something I'll never forget.
Definitely mission accomplished, and you're still here to talk about it. So it's a double bonus.
Exactly.
Well,
exactly.
That is just that's mind blowing. It's totally cool, but definitely not on my list of things to do. Because I don't know if I can do it right now. My idea of a thrill is trying to climb on a toilet with no bars. It's kind of like skydiving. It could be. But seriously,
I'm always up for an adventure, so yeah.
I guess I'm always up for an adventure, but I don't know if I'm up for those kinds. Well, thanks for joining us today, Stephanie, and thank you to all of you who watched this. I don't want to keep Stephanie too long, but I do appreciate the fact that she joined me, and hopefully we'll be doing this again at some point in the future because I really enjoyed all the information and just the opportunity to have fun and share the stage or the screen with such a great advocate and ally for people with disabilities, and also I made a new friend, so that's always a bonus. So
yeah,
I will see you guys soon, all of you, and hopefully you'll check out the next book.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to chat with all of you, and I hope everyone stays safe and well. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.